Make sure to check us out on Letterboxd for written reviews.
For films that we've done not only on the podcast, but outside of the podcast too.
Links in the description below. Hello everyone and welcome to the Rewatch podcast. My name is Jaden.
And my name is Samuel.
And today we are talking about Zack Snyder's new film. I had a bit of a mental breakdown there.
It's okay, I was going to come in and save you, but...
I was going to say which episode number it was, but I kind of forgot about it.
I think
what
it's
are we on?
episode 7.
Is it 7?
7, yeah.
7. We're on episode 7. We're watching Zack Snyder's new film, The Army of the Dead?
Army of the Dead.
Army of the Dead, and it released on Netflix. Yes. So, initial thoughts. When you saw the trailer of it, were you as excited as, Zack Snyder's Justice League?
You already know the answer to that. Of course I wasn't. Look, the Snydercut will be the biggest movie of 2021. I'm just going to make that statement right now. I don't care what else is coming out this year. That will be the biggest film in 2021.
I think as a cinematic achievement, you're right. Like, this is a fan film, and fans have been asking for this for so long. We're talking about Zack Snyder's Justice League here. So yeah, you're probably right in saying that it is going to be the biggest.
And
film
it's a mega hit too. Like, it's been confirmed as a hit. But then this is a blockbuster as well. Like, this isn't, an indie project that, Zack Snyder made in a couple days shooting with his mates. This is a big, full-scale... Like, if Zack Snyder's Justice League wasn't a thing, this would have been one of the biggest movies of the year. Just because of, the release. It's quite a... in 2021 still, not a lot of movies are coming out. But in terms of a Netflix movie, this is probably the biggest sort of blockbuster movie that they have done. Would you agree?
I would agree. Yeah. They're really getting into like theater territory with their films. Like they're really pushing the boundaries.
Well, the interesting thing about this film is not in Australia, but in the United States. So this film was actually released in theaters for a week before it came out on Netflix.
Really?
Yeah. So the general public were able to go and see the film in theaters. Obviously, a lot of theaters still aren't open in the US, but a lot of people got to go see this on the big screen.
Yeah.
And that is exactly how this movie should have been.
It was intended to watch on a big screen, and I think you know it when you see the IMAX and when you're watching it at home on your computer. It's a lot different. But I just want to kick it off with saying that I hate the title. Like, I absolutely hate the title. And I think with most Zack Snyder projects, I don't like his titles.
Okay. Like, what don't you like about it?
It's so generic.
Army
of the Dead. Like, what is the film? It's about the dead. What are they? They're an army.
It basically just says, like, there's a zombie army.
It's for people who walk into a cinema and are like, oh, what should I watch?
A zombie movie.
Army of the Dead. That has to be a zombie movie. Like, I'm gonna watch that. And the same thing is like Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's like, okay, it's Zack Snyder's version of the Justice League.
Not much else you could have called it.
Yeah, Batman vs Superman.
To be fair, though,
that
was Warner Bros, not Snyder. He would have called it something very different. He's come out recently and said that.
I'm not a fan of his titles. And I don't know. They're always misses for me.
Okay, interesting.
But I must say, I'm not the biggest Zack Snyder fan, and I know you're a huge Zack Snyder fan. He's probably one of your favorites, if not your favorite director. I don't love his films. I don't particularly like his films, but his films are very, very fun, I must say. I had a great time with it.
Yep.
I know it's not an amazing film. It's nothing special, but it was just a really fun film to enjoy and sit down for a very long time, I must say, and watch this zombie film.
It was a bit long.
Get immersed in in this environment and all these characters. It was a great time. So,
okay. All right, so a bit of a synopsis for us. Following a zombie outbreak in Las Vegas, a group of mercenaries take the ultimate gamble, venturing into the quarantine zone to pull off the greatest heist ever attempted. Now, I know everyone just got PTSD flashbacks from the word quarantine. But stay with us. So obviously has just been released, directed by Zack Snyder. But to be honest, this is Zack Snyder's movie. It's not just directed by Zack Snyder. It's written by Zack Snyder. The story is by Zack Snyder. Mm-hmm. Zack Snyder is obviously the executive producer. He is the cinematographer.
He's a cinematographer?
Yes. So this is the most Snydery film
you could possibly get.
Yeah. And I just say, props to Netflix, man, for securing this man, because obviously Netflix wouldn't have had the foresight to see that this man is probably the most prominent directors in the business at the moment.
Yep.
Purely because he's had a hit film with his name in the title.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not like The Dark Knight is called Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight.
Even though he would want it to be called that.
Yeah, and even though we refer to like movies like Inception as Christopher Nolan's Inception, that's not the actual movie. The actual name of Justice League is Zack Snyder's Justice League. So everyone knows who Zack Snyder is.
Yep.
And they know that he is now doing a movie that everyone can check out on Netflix. Mm-hmm. It's already number one on Netflix. Obviously, I reckon it's going to break the records that Extraction set. And
Extraction, is that with Chris Hemsworth?
Yes. Yeah. So that's the most popular Netflix film at the moment. Yeah. Yeah. Most viewed, I think.
Isn't that old, or am I tripping?
Maybe 2 years old. Maybe I think that might have been 2019.
Yeah, that's strange.
Yeah. So obviously, Chris Hemsworth. I thought that movie was great fun, by the way. But
I haven't seen it. I just know of it. Yeah,
it's pretty good. But yeah, obviously everyone loved it. But this, I reckon, is going to probably top the charts.
I mean, it's a zombie film. Everyone's going to watch it. Like, it's
You reckon zombie films like a...
Then again, the R18 rating might stop quite a few people.
Yeah, okay.
Because obviously, you know, a large majority of Netflix's audience would be under 18 years old, and you'd have probably parents monitoring that and such.
Yeah, and this film's very R18.
This film is very gory.
Very gory, yes, indeed.
It's not, you know, Taxi Driver.
Oh my goodness. That movie's hardly R18, by the way.
How is it rated R18?
It's like hardly even MA, to be honest.
And what's
Australia.
Joker? Is Joker a MA?
Joker's MA, yeah. And that's fair. Like, there's some pretty gruesome deaths, but yeah, regardless,
this tops the charts.
We'll just bash Taxi Driver for the next hour and a half.
Probably, yeah.
What are your thoughts on the zombie genre as a whole? Is it a genre that you particularly enjoy? What sort of zombie films have you seen? And how would you say that this sort of, you know, ranked in terms of zombie films?
God, have I seen any zombie films?
Have you seen...
I've seen...
Zombieland?
Yeah, I've seen... Yeah, true. I've seen Zombieland. I've seen World War Z. Horrific.
Is that the one with Brad Pitt?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't hear that was very good.
Yeah, Zombieland, I really enjoyed. I think that was a great film.
Yeah, it is quite fun.
The second one wasn't as good, but the first is good. Yeah, this film probably comes in like second for fun, because I enjoyed Zombieland more, and I think it's a better film overall. But this film is still really fun. I'm just trying to think of what other zombie films I've seen. I mean, the genre is so vast. There's so many of them. Yeah. Yeah,
so in preparation for this film, as you probably saw in Letterboxd...
you watched Dawn of the Dead,
I went on a bit of a zombie rampage myself. Because I hadn't seen a single zombie film. And I was like, this is a movie genre that I'm missing out on. Let's see what the deal is. Because I'm not really, you know, a fan of horror films. However, I feel like I should also sort of get into some of the better ones of those too. But so I went through Zack Snyder's first film that he ever did is his highest rated, actually second highest now behind Zack Snyder's Justice League, is Dawn of the Dead, right? And that film is awesome. It's a zombie film. It's a remake of
the original.
Yeah. So it's not written by him. It's written by James Gunn.
No.
The obviously the Guardians of the Galaxy
wow!
guy.
I'm gonna have to watch that now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Zack's not actually writing it. I think I've seen a lot of people talking about it in reviews, and I think I agree with it. Zack Snyder as a writer comes with certain pros. There's always going to be certain cons. He's in terms of writing the story and the dialogue and everything. He's proven himself to not be very invested in the characters and more of the spectacle, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes that really works, sometimes not so much. But in that movie, Dawn of the Dead, he doesn't write it. It's James Gunn.
Cool.
And Zack Snyder's just directing it and obviously, telling the DP where to put the camera and everything.
He's a director.
Yeah.
Let's be real. Yeah, that's what he does.
And a cinematographer. He's a visual man. And but yeah, so Dawn of the Dead is not my favorite Snyder film, but it is the best Snyder film, I think, like from an objective standard. So watching that, I was really keen for Army of the Dead.
Yep.
Army of the Dead is not as good, but it's not far off. Like it's within a short distance, but I think Dawn of the Dead succeeds with its characters better than Army of the Dead does.
He's done a few zombie films, hasn't he? Because he's done... I want to say it's Sucker Punch. Is that a zombie film?
I don't think that's a zombie film, but that is a Zack Snyder original idea. I think that's got some video game sort of...
Yeah, it sounds like a video game.
Yeah,
Sucker
Punch is a video game.
It's a company, isn't it?
Company, yeah. So I don't know. I think it's an original Snyder IP.
Okay.
But another interesting thing to note about Snyder actually is that every single film he's done, apart from Army of the Dead and Sucker Punch, have been comic book adaptations or remakes.
Oh.
So and most of his films are Frank Miller graphic novel interpretations. Think of 300, Watchmen, the Batman and Batman v Superman.
Yep.
All Snyder taking something and making it Snydery.
Yeah, Snydery. I thought you were about to say better.
Yeah. Sometimes for better, sometimes for worse.
Yeah.
But Dawn of the Dead is just a remake, so, and obviously James Gunn wrote the script. But
I think he's just having fun, He's having fun as a director. He's just taking what he loves and doing his own spin on it and respecting the original work at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah. And in this film, it's all his idea.
Yeah.
He said he pitched this to Warner Brothers.
Oh, God.
Do you want to know when? 2007.
No.
2007. He had this idea.
14 years ago.
He pitched it to Warner Bros. And you know what? Warner Bros said no.
Of course they did.
And so you know what he did? Like, buddy, 15 years later or whatever.
God, he hit up Netflix.
Yeah. He tried to make it again. Warner Bros said maybe. They got someone else to do it. I tell you, they got a different director. They're like, do you want to do it? Not Snyder. No, not you, Snyder.
Are you serious?
Do you want to do it? Yeah, but it didn't fall. It fell through.
Oh my God.
But then eventually Netflix just said, how about we take that? And Warner Bros is like, honestly, we're done with this Zack Snyder, man.
So stupid.
And so Netflix are now going to have, one of the biggest films of the year.
It's like they don't even want money, man. Like, what are they doing?
Warner Bros.
What a laugh of a franchise.
It's just a series of diabolical decisions that have just been consistently made.
Dear God.
And most of them involve Zack Snyder. But regardless, the man went to Netflix. Netflix said, Snyder, we want you to make this film. And then Zack Snyder usually goes, okay, what's the but? Because Warner Bros. Usually say, we want you to make this film, but we want you to have jokes. We want you to have a light tone. We want you to take that god-awful filter
we want
off
you to
your
have
movie.
Flash falling on Wonder Woman. Yes, we realize that it isn't a DC movie.
We want this very nice man called Joss Whedon to come in and just watch. He's just going to watch.
Yes. Just sit in the corner.
He's just going to be in the corner. And you know what? It's optional, but sometimes he may come in and give you... He's here to help, Snyder. He's here to help you.
Yep.
But Netflix just said, Snyder, do whatever you want. mate, we'll make the movie. You make it how you want to make it. And here we are. Two of Snyder's best movies have been movies where the studio left him alone. And so the man is obviously
unlimited creative freedom.
He did what he wanted.
Yeah.
When will they ever learn? Never. When will these studios ever learn to just let the artists create the art? Obviously, you have to put it in certain barriers, and you have to contain their creativity somewhat. But at the end of the day, an artist is an artist. You've got to let them make their art.
Mad respect to Netflix. They're just making like correct decision after correct decision. We've got one film coming out each week for 52 weeks this year.
Wow.
I think that might be correct. But like, come on. That is just such a smart decision. It's the amount of money they're going to make from that is just ridiculous.
And this is the first in the franchise too, so there's going to be a prequel. There's going to be a sequel.
I mean,
there's a cartoon.
Without, spoiling too much, there is, a setup. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And Zack Snyder's going to be controlling it all. So, I mean, great. If Warner Bros. Aren't going to be nice to him, he should just go and dominate the movie industry for another company.
Yep.
So, general thoughts about Army of the Dead. Would you recommend this film to someone who hasn't seen it? Obviously, everyone has Netflix. Let's not kid ourselves. So, Saturday night, should they chuck it on?
Yeah. I had a great time with it. I think it was great. Like I said before, it's nothing special. It's not amazing. It's not going to win Oscars.
Yeah. Or it might win one.
Yeah. Okay. I think I might know what you're talking about as well. But yeah, I think this film is very enjoyable. It's just something to sit down and get engaged with. It's a good watch. You don't have to pay too much attention to it if you don't want to.
It's not too heavy.
Yeah. It was an overly enjoyable watch, and I would recommend it. Yeah.
Same for me. Obviously, fans of like the zombie horror genre are gonna enjoy this more than your average person. Obviously, the average soccer mum's not going to enjoy this. Might get a bit of a nasty surprise. But then again, I'm sure a lot of people are going to be thirst watching this for Dave Bautista.
Yep.
Because he is, I think, I'm going to call it now, I think he's going to become the new Rock. I think he's on that sort of upward trajectory in terms of, a wrestler coming from like wrestling into the acting industry. And I think his performance in this is great. I don't think he's going to have another supporting role for a very long time. Yeah. Except for, obviously, Guardians. But
yeah, so we've seen him, or I've seen him in Blade Runner 2049, and I've seen him in Guardians of the Galaxy. And I heard somewhere that he's, he's trying to get out of the MCU now. He's trying to do other projects, which, it's probably a smart decision in terms of his career, because you need to branch out. Which you just can't keep on doing these massive MCU films. I mean, it's just going to end up, hurting your career down the road. So good on him for, trying other things. And I've got some things to say about his character in terms of this movie and how it was handled. But I do overly enjoy him as an actor. I think he's done quite a good job,
Yep. So touching on the acting there, I think obviously the best performance is from Dave Bautista. He's really good in Blade Runner 2049. A lot of people are saying that's still his best role. And for some, I would agree. But obviously, he's the lead in this movie, so he has more stuff to do.
Such a small role in Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah, he does do it really well. He's really good at being like this incredibly masculine, but also really empathetic sort of guy. And how he... Well, I almost spoiled.
Yeah.
What happens in the start of Blade Runner 2049 is really quite impactful by his performance. But yeah, I think he's really good in this. Definitely the best. Were any other standouts for you in terms of acting, or any cast members that you really liked?
I think his daughter was quite good.
Yeah.
I think she did a good acting performance. It's just the characters that I have an issue with. I think with what they were given, they did a lot.
Yep.
But some of the other ones are just, just supporting characters with, quippy humor and witty jokes. I think in terms of if you're gonna give an Oscar to someone, it's either Dave Bautista or his daughter. I can't remember the names, if I'm going to be completely honest.
Yeah.
But I think they had great performances in this movie.
I really liked Samantha Wynn as Chambers. She is the chick who has the red bandana. And I won't say what happens to her, but she has a really, really cool scene. Mm-hmm. And she's an absolute badass.
She's kind of like Gina Carano in a way.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah. Funny, actually. She's in Zack Snyder's Justice League too.
Oh, wow.
Apparently she's in Man of Steel and Wonder Woman and Justice League too.
Okay.
But she's an Amazonian warrior.
Oh,
in
there you go.
In Zack Snyder's Justice League. So yeah, as we see, some of these directors, they like to keep their rotation.
Yeah. Zack Snyder's getting into his own little group, and
he's like, "Come on, guys,
actors."
Yeah, honestly, I would love to be attached to this man if I was an actor.
100%, yeah.
Tig Notaro plays the pilot. She was not in this movie.
What?
So, when they first filmed this movie, the pilot was played by a man called Chris D'Elia, who is a comedian.
Yep.
Do you know the name?
Don't.
Okay. Let's see. I think I Google searched him. He was originally playing the pilot, right? Mm-hmm. And then what happened was some certain allegations came out about this man.
Yep.
In terms of sexual misconduct, underage, it's just... So they had to remove him, right? Mm-hmm. But problem was, they'd already filmed the movie.
Oh, no.
So what do? Zack Snyder gets Tig Notaro, who came in to Zack Snyder's backyard, or his garage.
No way. Again?
Zack Snyder's garage.
Again with the garage.
Zack Snyder's garage is honestly one of the most productive production areas, I think, in Hollywood so far.
This guy's making blockbusters from his garage.
In his garage. So what they did is they digitally inserted her into the movie.
You couldn't even tell.
Couldn't even tell, mate. Absolute master.
Wow.
So she was on a green screen, filmed all of her lines, everything. Dave Bautista has never met her.
That's crazy, man.
Inserted her into the movie, and you wouldn't notice.
No. I'm blown away.
Yeah.
That's mad.
Pretty insane. And the fact that she's just there with blank green walls.
Yeah.
Having chemistry.
She's acting against green walls. How do you do that?
You've got to give credit to that, hey. And also,
crazy.
It costs millions of dollars, but you've got to give credit to Snyder for actually managing. What a nightmare. What a nightmare. To have to take a cast member out of the film. Mm-hmm. It's just really beyond me.
She was flying the helicopter, and
yeah,
I can't believe that. Wow.
It's really quite mind-blowing stuff. Just shows you how far sort of, the special effects technology and green screen.
Especially with Netflix. It's not a major, film studio. Yeah. It's just it's making these tiny little projects.
Yeah.
And I've said multiple times in my reviews that, Netflix films tend to fall low because of their budgets. They don't have the same budget as Endgame or Infinity War. And damn, that's impressive what they've been able to do. And I'm sure, they've probably got a bigger budget now than they had, a few years back. Yeah, mad props.
Yeah, the budget for this film was $90 million. To put that into perspective, Zack Snyder got $70 million to finish the Snydercut. So he got He got almost the same amount of money to finish off an already completed movie with special effects.
What?
Then he made this entire movie with $20 million more.
Wow.
That's just it's mind-blowing stuff, the financials of this industry, bro. But in terms of the visual standpoint, touched on a bit just there, how did you like the visual look of this movie?
I think it's one of the highlights, if I'm going to be completely honest. If you've seen the trailer, this isn't spoiler territory, but, we see a zombie tiger.
Yeah.
That VFX on its own is mind-blowing. It looks realistic. It's not fake looking. It doesn't look like it's janky.
Yeah.
Its movement's natural. I think that was fantastic. I think the zombies design is great.
Yeah.
Is it practical? Do you know?
Makeup, yeah.
Makeup, yeah. Wow, great. I like to see that. I like practical effects. Yeah, I think the whole Las Vegas landscape and the environment and the set design, loved it as well. It's just such a niche film, and it's in a one setting, which I know I had a bit of an issue with the Arrival, but there's so much going on in this one area.
For sure.
That it's entertaining enough to keep you in this one area the whole time.
Yeah, I got to agree. And there's no filter on it as well. So there's no blue, there's no monochrome.
Thank you, Zack Snyder.
And also, hardly any slow motion at all. Even though Snyder has never had more power behind the camera, like he's literally behind the camera the entire time.
He held himself back.
Yeah.
Although I must say, I think that some of the slow-mo shots in this were probably some of my favourite.
Yeah, I think, there's a few that I liked, but it's not obnoxious like it is in the Snydercut.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're just thinking like, can we speed it up a bit? Can we speed it up a bit in the Snydercut? But there was none of that here. I was worried there would be, because as soon as that comes in, you get the critics being like, 5% of this film is slow motion, therefore it's bad. And, you know. But I really like the visual appeal of this movie too. Sound, what did you think of the soundtrack? Obviously, there's quite a few songs, and then obviously you have the Junkie XL score. What did you think of the sound?
Again, nothing really stood out to me. It's just Junkie XL does well complementing the film.
Yeah.
It kind of just... It's not that I didn't pay attention to it. It just blended in nice.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, like you were playing it before, it sounded really good.
Yeah.
But more importantly, with the sound design, is the zombies sounds, which I loved.
Good stuff.
I think it's a very clever way to do it. It's very... It's very... How do I explain it? It's kind of like the Predator sound.
It's like a bit eerie and creepy.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, and I think it's a very clever way to do it. Zack Snyder has clear... he's kind of put in his inspirations out there, and you know what he's taken inspiration from with this film. And a lot of people compare it to Aliens, which now that I'm looking at it, it's kind of similar. I don't get when people say, oh my God, it's like a clear cut clone of it. Like, it's not that. But he's open to, displaying his inspirations, which I think making is all about that. But yeah, I think the sound design is well done. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to ask you, what did you think of the actual heist element of this movie? It's sort of been pitched as a zombie heist movie, so sort of like a meeting of two genres, right? It's going to be a heist movie, but there's going to be zombies that are, trying to stop these people from getting into this safe.
Yep.
What did you think of the heist element? For me, it was hardly a heist movie. It was more of a zombie movie, but the objective is to just do this quick heist. There was not enough emphasis placed on the heist part for me, but what did you think?
Look, I think there's a lot of fundamental issues with this film. The thing about it is it's just Zack Snyder having fun. He's not trying to make an amazing film. He's just making a fun film. Like, you just got to look past all of the issues of it and just have a fun time. In saying that, I'm going to rate this film subjectively. No. Is subjective...
Subjective is you're having your opinion.
I'm rating it more so objectively then. Because I know this film isn't a good film, let's be real. You've probably got your own opinion on that, but there's clear issues with it. And that's probably the first one that came up, was sort of a Lord of the Rings situation where why couldn't they just fly a helicopter in? And they probably answered that somewhere, but I can't remember where they answered that. They flew one out, so why couldn't they fly one in?
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's a bit weird. Just landed on the building and then walk down, blow open the...
Yeah.
I don't understand, but...
that is a bit...
They probably answered that somewhere with, the military might shoot them down or something. But then again, they had a whole nuke. I don't understand. Zack Snyder might have just overlooked that.
Yeah. It's sort of a movie that doesn't want you to think too hard.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, there's a few hints that I'll talk about with you in a second where Zack Snyder really wants you to think hard. He wants you to theorize.
See, make up your mind, Zack Snyder.
I
What are
know.
you doing?
He wants the best of both worlds.
Yeah, you can't have it that way. Yeah, I think it's just a weird sort of genre to play with. I think it might have been better if they were just going in to rescue someone, maybe. Okay. The whole idea of getting money from this, who's going to risk their life for that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very...
How much was it? 200 million?
200 million, but there is a significant high rate of, you're going to die, let's be real.
The odds were not in their favour.
The odds weren't in their favour. And I mean, personally, I wouldn't do that. What would you do?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it wants us to put ourselves in the shoes of Dave Bautista's character, right? You survive this incredibly horrifying event. Mm-hmm. You save countless people, including, I think, a military general, I think he saves. And then he's flipping burgers for the rest of his life. Yeah. And so, from that perspective, if you can go in, get out, and have, get $50 million, I think was what he got, what he was being told he could take. Mm-hmm. That was like his stake. I don't know, man. It's like saying, what have you got to lose? Like, the guy was on his own. His life was terrible. Perhaps, if you can view his life as worse than death, then why not go and see if you can crack the money?
But I'm also thinking of, the random characters that just kind of...
A reasonable person would not do this.
It's like, I want to kill zombies. Count me in. No, you're not going to do it. Yeah. But, like I said, you look past that, you have fun with the film. And I don't do that often. I tend to, rate films more objectively than subjectively. Mm. But, this film is just such a fun time that you just tend to overlook that.
Yeah. Fair enough. I'm going to bring up something here that I want you to take a look at. I saw this on Twitter, right? I might have to do a bit of a pause here and so I can look it up. But there was a moment in this film, right? I'm not sure if you noticed. A few people on Twitter have noticed. But at the very start, there is these two bright lights in the sky. Mm-hmm. And they disappear very quickly. They fly off. You don't see what they are, but you just see two bright lights once the military have secured the payload and they're on the way. There's these two bright stars in the sky, and they both go whoosh at the same time as soon as the payload has been secured.
Still working?
Here it is. I found it.
Sweet. Okay. Yep.
Okay, I found it. Here it is. Take a look at that bottom left photo there. And unfortunately, I don't have the video. Yep. But if the first 15 minutes of the movie have been released on YouTube, it'll be in the first 15 minutes, unless they digitally removed it, which they might have done. But there's these two sort of sun-like beings in the sky that sort of take off once the payload have been secured. And sort of, the theory that comes with that is that the first original zombie is of alien, of alien descent, whatever.
Don't tell me that's an element of the film.
Yeah.
Is it?
Well, we have two, UFOs, essentially. Yep. Take off when, once the military have secured... Because we don't know where the original zombie came from.
No,
We just see it.
Yeah, we don't.
And the military have it secured. But regardless, I think from that point, I think it's good that we dive into spoilers now.
Let's dive into spoiler region. And just diving into spoiler region real quick. Was the first zombie Zeus or the?
Yes, I think so.
It was? Yeah, okay. Yeah. So that's where he came from.
Yeah, Zack Snyder loves a bit of mythic elements.
Greek mythology, yes.
Yeah, some bit of god action. And so obviously, of course, we have, the original zombie is has the power once he bites you to make you an alpha. Mm-hmm. And then you become a zombie that isn't your standard sort of walk around, eat brains. I don't just walk around.
Just
zombie.
hobbles around.
That's what they do, right?
Yeah,
that's what the average zombie does.
That's what a zombie does.
Yeah. But when you're an alpha, I think they think, right? They think like wild animals.
I wear metal helmet.
Yes. Yeah, which deflects bullets.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they have some sort of conscience, and they can breed.
Yeah.
Which is a bit of a...
Which is very disturbing.
Yeah, it's not good, not good for the fate of humanity. But yeah, do you want to dive into some of your spoilery thoughts?
Not so much spoilers, but I'll just go through all of my notes.
Yeah.
Starting it off with the credits. Yes.
Oh, yes.
Love it.
Good credits, man.
Yes.
Great stuff.
Yeah, we get moving scenes, so it's not just, just blank, boring credits. It's exciting. We kind of get a little bit of what would you call it, like cinematic exposition. We see stuff happening that we
Very
need
quickly.
to know quickly. It's happening. It introduces us obviously to all of the cast members, and we get important things happening. We get some Elvis Presley there. Beautiful
Watch
song
out,
choice.
Elvis.
Watch out.
Love that. That was hilarious.
I love the song choice. I think it's great. Just a really cool opening credit scene, and you don't see them often. I think it was great. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like the fact that Snyder just admits, he's like, look, guys, this is a zombie movie, but we're not going to spend half the movie telling you why.
Yep.
This is just what happened.
We're just going to get into it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what did you think about the fact that ultimately this zombie apocalypse was started by a guy and his wife in their car getting up to a bit of naughty business and then swerving off the road and then accidentally and quite
they really
quite dramatically,
they probably started one of the worst things that Earth is ever going to see.
Yes.
Yeah, they're probably going to destroy humanity.
Yeah. And they also probably died very painfully in the process. But yeah, I hope it was worth it for the guy because very big problems were created because of those actions. And by the way, a bit stupid, the fact that we have military officers and they're just like having a chat. I hate that in movies, bro.
Yeah.
I hate that. It's one of my sort of pet peeves of films. Is
You're
when,
on the job, pay attention.
Yeah. And even like if you're not a military officer and you're in the car, when you're having a conversation with someone in the car,
You look forward.
yeah, you're looking at the road.
Yeah.
You're not like, oh yeah, what's the go? Like,
And if you look to the side, it's 1 second and you look
Yeah.
back. It's not, hey, how's the day going? Pretty good. You don't do that.
Yeah. And especially these military officers.
Yeah, and kind of going off of that point, I think some of the dialogue in this movie was absolutely horrendous.
Okay. I reckon that's fair to blame Snyder. Do you have specific examples? Or?
I don't have examples, but man, it was just bad.
Like cheesy or just
I don't know. It
not good.
It felt like a child's
just like not
theater
very,
performance,
not very subtle.
like a high school performance. Yeah, very
Like I'm telling you how I feel. Sort of dialogue.
Yeah.
Sort of what have I done?
It was bad.
Anakin,
sometimes.
you're breaking my heart.
Yeah. I don't like sad. It's a bit of a prequel example, but that's the one big negative that stood out for me. I think some of the dialogue was just so poorly written. Yeah, and look, I don't think Zack Snyder has an issue with it because he wrote Zack Snyder's Justice League, right? Or he was involved.
He was Chris Terrio, who's an Oscar-winning writer, wrote the film, but then Zack Snyder does the story. So Zack Snyder will go, okay, I want Flash to reverse time.
Yeah, okay. He's more creative minded.
Yeah.
And then someone else
comes
together.
in and says, okay, what's Barry going to say when he reverses?
So if I ever see a Zack Snyder film that's been written by Zack Snyder in the future, it's going to be a bit of an issue for me.
Brace yourself.
Look, I love the guy and I love what he's doing.
Yeah.
But he's just suited to direct films.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of George Lucas, really. George Lucas is a horrendous director.
Okay, yeah, I agree. Yeah,
he world builds and he writes films and produces films. Stick to that.
Yeah,
and it's the same with Zack Snyder. Like, just stick to directing, please.
Yeah,
don't do anything else.
I reckon the best Snyder films will come when he teams up with a really good writer who knows his style.
Yep.
And so they can write meaningful character moments and dialogue, but know how Zack Snyder's going to film it. And then they just develop a partnership where person A comes up to Zack Snyder and says, here's the script. I made it off your idea. Here it is. Zack Snyder goes, great. Then he shoots it. Instead of Zack being like, okay, I want zombie apocalypse. This person is going to say this to this person. Because Zack Snyder did this movie. Like, it's all him.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, there's producers that will have impact on the story choices. But at the end of the day, Netflix said, do whatever you want. So he did whatever he wanted.
Yeah. And we got it. And it's fun. So, yeah, I have issues with it, but I respect the film. And just thinking about it, like, God, I really want a Christopher Nolan written film that's directed by Zack Snyder.
Oh, okay.
I really want to see that. But I know Christopher Nolan isn't going to do it, because if he's going to do a film that's written by him, he's going to direct his own film.
Wait, say what you said again.
Has he written a film? He's done, like, Man of Steel, hasn't he? Yeah, he's done Man of Steel.
So yeah, Nolan wrote Man of Steel.
Yep.
And Zack Snyder directed.
Okay. I want another film.
Yeah, what you're saying is you want a better film.
I want a better film.
Yeah.
Give me another film and I'll try it again, because Man of Steel was not it. Like, it just wasn't there.
Didn't do it for you.
Swiftly moving on. Yeah, like I said before, the father-daughter stuff, I think the acting was good, but the character's development, and it's just so shallow. Like,
okay.
I just don't care about it. Like,
right.
There's no emotional depth to it. It's just like people speaking to one another, and I'm tearing up a bit, and then I'm crying, and I didn't care. Like,
okay.
it didn't work for me, and I think I've seen a few other people say this. Like you said, not Christopher Nolan. Zack Snyder just has issues with developing his characters. He always puts a story in the forefront, like big action sequences and zombies, biting off humans' heads and such. Zombie tigers. He probably put more effort into the zombie tiger than he did to the
actual script
development.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, moving on to the zombie tiger.
Oh, wait, hang on. I want to.
Have you got something to say?
Yeah, I just want to jump in on that father-daughter stuff. I agree. Dave Bautista's character was the most interesting for me, but for me it was the rest of them that fell flat.
Okay.
I really, really enjoyed the scene where we're seeing Dave Bautista have to kill his wife, who has become a zombie, and there's one particular shot. See, I'm talking about Snyder or Denny V when I say there's this one particular shot, because that's what they're good at.
Yeah.
But so there's one shot, right, where Dave Bautista, this really strong man, he's holding his wife back. His wife's a zombie. His wife's trying to like eat his brains, but he's just like holding her like at arm's length, and he's just tearing up, and he's got his head down, whereas this zombie's just like trying to eat him, and he's just like sobbing and crying because he knows what he has to do to save his daughter. He's gonna have to kill his wife, even though his wife's already dead. Yep. But that's not what your brain is telling you in that situation. But yeah, I just really enjoyed that scene. I think the acting was really good by Dave Bautista, and how he did kill her, and his reaction was really, really good. And I think it set up the conflict of, if a daughter saw her dad kill her zombie mum, how would that affect their relationship? But then at the end, we sort of find out that it didn't. That she doesn't like him.
It's just because he
left or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. I like the original one. I like the original one.
Go
more.
back.
Because you're not going to go like, that's going to scar you. Like, no matter, obviously you can be a reasonable person and comprehend like, okay, what else was he supposed to do? Was he supposed to let the zombie eat him? And then
she's got no one.
Then now she's got to kill both of her parents. But yeah, some things with Snyder, I'm like, I just would rather have had that character moment be substituted for something else.
But now that you've mentioned it, I think as the film went along, I was more invested in the relationship and how it was built. And I do really like the contrast between Dave Bautista killing his wife and then the daughter killing him.
That was really good.
I think that was great.
I like that.
I think the ending scene it surprised me. I saw it coming, not from a mile away, but I did see it coming.
Yeah.
Because I think there was a scene where we see Dave Bautista get bitten on the neck, and then from there on, I was kind of like, yeah, Dave Bautista is probably going to have to die somehow.
Okay.
And if it's not going to be the pilot who's seems dead, then it's going to be the daughter. But in saying that, I was still sitting there. I was like, is she going to pull the trigger? Is she not going to? Because that could lead on to the sequel.
Yeah.
But obviously they did that a different direction. But no, I think her killing her father was a really good sort of contrast with the father killing the wife, and that was quite well done. And from, just sitting back, you could probably think, Zack Snyder already had this in his head at the very start. He's like, okay, I want this to happen.
Yeah.
And then at the end, I want this to happen. Which I think was very well said, because it kind of set the foundations. But he did the start and the end, and then he forgot about the middle. The middle just kind of like sagged into one big zombie fest in the middle. Yeah.
I will say about the end, like, I didn't see a single thing coming.
Okay.
I was like, what I thought, like, it's a heist movie about them getting money. What's going to happen is they're going to encounter problems. Probably all of them are going to die, except for the dad and his daughter. They're going to get tons of money. Then they're going to drive off.
Yep.
Happy ending. Snyder's like, get out of here with your happy ending.
That's not what I want.
You wish that's how it ended.
Yeah.
Because by the final sort of 20, 30 minutes, I was like, oh my goodness, there's so much like, what on earth is going on? Like, but that's how he wants you to feel. But yeah, I didn't see a single thing coming for that in that finale. But yeah, anyways, back to...
I could only really see it coming when it was like put in my face. Like, he got bit on the neck. He's going to have to die somehow.
I don't think I see... Was that when
Zeus,
you're in the helicopter at the end?
Zeus bit him. Yeah. That's where I saw it coming. I'm not like the messiah of movie endings.
Yeah.
No. Anyways, moving on. Did you want to say anything else about that, or
just about the opening sort of credits or
setup?
Anything
in the opening?
I like the music choices as well. I like how they quickly told us how it happened.
Yep.
I think in Dawn of the Dead they don't tell you how the zombie apocalypse happened.
Okay.
It just sort of but then saying that, I like the introduction to the zombies better in Dawn of the Dead. It's done really creatively and really subtly, and you can sort of see it in the background. And
that's probably James Gunn's.
Probably.
That's his writing, whereas Zack Snyder's just like
first scene is zombie.
How do I make this easy?
I like the setup though. I like seeing the first zombie sort of look out over the city, and they're like, oh, meat's back on the menu, boys.
Yeah.
They're just sort of, having a look at the city that they're about to destroy, and then we cut to, old mate making burgers.
Yep.
But I felt like the businessman character was an absolute bland plank of wood. I think everyone else was kind of a plank of wood as well, except for what was her name? I mentioned it before.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, man. The rest of this cast, the cast did well for sure, but I wasn't invested in the rest of the characters, and that's where,
that's where the issues of the writing come
falls
into.
Down.
Yeah, it all comes back to Zack Snyder's writing. There's clear issues there, and only you could tell that he didn't really care about all of the characters, and he has issues balancing all of them.
For sure. That's really hard with these sorts of movies where you have like 5 or 6, automatically you say like, oh, well, maybe James Gunn should have done it. Well, just because he did Guardian doesn't mean that he's the king of, team-up films.
Yeah.
But he has successfully done these sort of team-up movies. But yeah, it's really hard. And a lot of the times when there's, like Ocean's 11, for example, I couldn't name a single other character apart from George Clooney. I don't even know, what's his name? His last name's Ocean? Ocean something?
Danny Ocean.
I don't know anybody else.
Yeah.
We watched it recently. I don't remember a single other person, right? But that movie was so much better than this.
Yeah.
But still, Scott Ward, that's his name. I don't remember anybody else.
Yeah. I can't remember the names.
Yeah.
It's just...
Zombie Tiger.
It's Zombie Tiger. Zombie Horse.
Valentine, that's the name of the
Zombie Baby.
Tiger. Zombie Baby. Zombie Jesus, that's what it was.
Zombie Jesus.
Did you see the...
There was a Zombie Jesus?
I'll talk about that later.
Okay. Yeah, so just moving on. I just wanted to quickly touch on the Zombie Tiger again.
Yes, please.
Best
performance in the movie.
Yes, and I think it was explained that it's the tiger of Sigmund and Fried, which, if you don't know, is a magic duo who performed in Vegas.
Oh, okay.
And this is just me going off the top of my head.
So this is the... In lore, so in this story... Mm-hmm. It's the tiger of... Oh, okay.
Of
so it's an
these
actual...
real people.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So these real people performed in Vegas. I'm not sure if this is true. This is me knowledge.
Yeah.
And they died to their tiger. Their tiger killed them.
Oh, okay.
And obviously the tiger was like roaming the streets of Vegas, and then one of the zombies bit it and it turned into like a zombie tiger.
Cool.
Which I think is just cool.
Yeah, because I was saying for a minute there, hang on. Las Vegas, right?
Yeah.
Geographic facts. Tigers in Las Vegas?
Yeah.
So there is just one. So that does make sense.
I think that's the explanation for it.
I like that.
The horse, I'm not sure how the horse ended up there.
I mean, it's Vegas. I mean, they're going to be doing performances.
There's probably going to be a horse in there somewhere.
Yeah. All sorts of stuff.
But
Can I say about the zombie tiger, though?
Go on.
Sometimes it's CGI. Sometimes it's a real tiger.
Okay.
So I want to give props to them for actually using a real tiger.
Cool.
They put makeup on the tiger.
What? They did?
So they put makeup on the tiger. Obviously, the various animal rights laws. There's always a trainer there, and if the tiger doesn't want to do it, they have to be very nice to the tiger.
If the tiger doesn't want to do it,
tiger's like, guys, I'm not feeling it today. I'm just don't have my spark today. But yeah, because when you think like, animals involved in production, you're like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
I don't. Sometimes the odd animal rights group.
There's always going to be issues there.
Yeah, but I do want to acknowledge the fact that it seems like a lot of times in this movie they opted for practical instead of effects. And while it is a very effects-heavy movie, the visual style is very cool, and the tiger looks awesome. Mm-hmm. Doesn't look fake at all. Mm-hmm. Looks like it's gonna... Actually, the action scene involving the tiger, bit odd.
Yeah.
But most of the time, when the tiger's like just walking around, looks like a real tiger, moves like a real tiger. Mm-hmm. Looks great.
I commend films that use practical effects. Mm-hmm. I think it is a dying way of making films, which is a shame because it's the best way of making effects. And eventually visual effects will probably overthrow practical effects because they'll just get that good. The technology will be that good.
Probably.
And it's a shame because I think practical effects just have some sort of magic to them that you just can't recreate with a computer.
Yeah. Well, visual effects nowadays, they can only be sort of rendered to 2K. So if you think like you buy a 4K disc, right? If you're seeing a real car blow up on a 4K disc, it's going to look better than a fake car because the fake car's in 2K, not
and
4K.
Because it's not possible. You can't do it with that technology. So, 10 years down the road, we'll probably have that, and it will probably look better. But, I just hope that, franchises just don't get rid of practical effects because it is, in my opinion, the best way of doing it. So that's the tiger. More about the tiger, blah, 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 looks so good. Like I said, there's a lot of plot points in this film, and you tend to overlook them, but one that I couldn't overlook is like, I don't know how they explained it, but they went into a building, right? I think it was like, okay, we have to go inside now because the zombies are outside, but I didn't see any zombies, and all the zombies are inside, they're hibernating, like...
Yeah, they were,
So they're like, we need to go inside because the zombies are outside. But when they go inside, the zombies are inside.
Yeah, and they're hibernating.
It seems a lot more dangerous. It's just a bit of a weird decision, in my opinion. Like,
and some of the zombies are hibernating and some of them aren't.
Yeah, like...
But I will say, though, that's probably the most Aliens-like scene.
Yeah.
With people sort of comparing this to Aliens. That was a great sort of horror scene because you know something's going to go wrong. And I think the scene, I would look up her name again. But the chick who dies in that scene. And by the way, the angry white man, what's his name? The military guy who's who tries to double cross her. How just like he shuts the door on her and then she just like bursts through the window.
You could tell he was like, oh, damn.
He's like, oh crap, I'm gonna have to kill him myself.
I'm screwed.
I thought that was so cool because, like him, I thought she was dead.
I didn't see that coming. She like burst out. Like, oh my god, she's back.
She just goes John Wick. She's just like I want to know her backstory because if she's got that much fight in her, she must be fighting for a reason. Like maybe her whole family's been wiped out by these zombies or something.
Yeah.
But we don't get that. But it would have been nice because she's just like going through rampaging, like knives and like, we talk about like fake feminism in female-led movies and whatever. Sometimes it actually, when they try to prioritize that, it hinders the actual story. But this was just, oh my gosh, like this is a badass woman right now. She's just going through, doesn't matter what her gender is. She's just, blowing heads off left, right, and center. And I'm like, this is the coolest action scene in the entire movie.
Yep. I love when she's like on the floor and like spraying zombies down. Yeah. Real cool stuff.
And she just keeps going. And then she does the heroic thing and she lets them go and she lets her friends go and she's got a swarm of zombies on her, but she's going to keep fighting. And it's like, my goodness, great scene. One of the best in the movie, in my opinion.
Yeah. I would say so as well. And just touching on the fight choreography, if you didn't know, Dave Bautista is an ex-wrestler like The Rock. Yeah. So he's built like that, and you can tell. And I think he might have done WWE, I'm not sure. Okay.
I think he might.
Yeah, so he's got a background in like fight choreography and fake fighting. Yeah. So I think some of that really carried through in these scenes, and particularly towards the end where we see Dave Bautista fighting off zombies in the Olympus like casino lobby. He's doing the stunts. Yeah, I think it's him doing the stunts. Yeah. And it looks great. It looks real. There's impact. You can tell that Dave Bautista's fighting. It doesn't look fake. So massive props to Dave Bautista for doing that. Because it's probably just it just comes naturally to him probably.
Yeah. And he looks like he could actually do this stuff in real life. Like he has that physicality that, but then he also has that sympathetic quality where he's able to execute those dramatic scenes where we want to feel sorry for him. And then he's able to just rampage, and he's got the gun that's just like a single shot. So he just like runs up and just goes bang, dead, bang, dead, bang, dead, headshot. Like this man is obviously like got some sort of training too, but we believe as an audience that he can do this stuff. It's not like, sometimes in superhero movies where it's like Captain America versus the world and you're like, he's just a guy with super strength. Like, is he really going to kill 500 people? But, so
exactly, yeah. It feels real. I think is the main point to take away from that.
And Zack Snyder never got too aggressive with the action scenes, in my opinion. I think there was never like a one man versus 250 zombies. Like they all had to work together. Some of them died as they went. On that note, any death scenes that were your favourite or...
I actually wrote down somewhere, just jumping forward. The scene where we see them crack the safe and then,
They did that very quickly, didn't they?
Very, very quickly. Yeah. Very unrealistic.
Yeah. I was like, this is going to be a huge safe. He's going to need like 20 minutes. You guys are going to need to fend off zombies while he does it.
When he was like setting his watch, I'm like, oh God, it's probably going to take like 7 hours.
Oh, and by the way, also... when the government's just like, oh, by the way, we're moving the bomb up. I'm like, get out of here. Like, that's just stupid.
That's not going to happen.
Like I get that it makes it more intense. But it just comes off as so cheap. Yeah. You can just see right through it. You're like, okay, that's a plot device.
And it had to be on a news show as well.
Yes, and they had to be watching the TV at that time. Imagine if they just missed it. They were like,
Yeah.
yada, yada, yada. We got like hours, guys. We've got like the full day. Wait, what's that? Boom. Like
What's that bright thing in the sky?
They're very lucky they had their lunch break when there was a TV nearby.
They're very lucky that like there were TVs working,
Yes,
and they were on the right channel.
Yeah.
Why would they have TVs playing the news channel in a casino?
Yeah, that's just a big sigh from me.
It's just a weird plot point that you just have to overlook, right?
And how about you just start the movie being like, okay, we have 24 hours before this bomb goes off. You need to do it now. Go.
Yep.
But maybe you would just say, no, I'm good, thanks.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in that way of that nuclear bomb.
Or maybe you could have the other people, which was another weird plot point. Like there's these people they have to save as well.
Oh, I didn't like that either.
Yeah. They went in for some reason and then they have to go in. Like,
oh, that chick that gets stuck there and she's like, she has like two friends that we don't know. I didn't care for it at all. The first scene that she had with Dave Bautista's daughter, I was like, I'm like, it was in the start of the movie, like the first hour, and they're introducing us to all these characters, and I'm like, I don't care about this person because I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not like, you know, I saw the character and I'm like, oh, she's not Dave Bautista, I don't care. And I'm like, I want to get invested in this character, but I just wasn't given enough.
Yeah.
Stuff, and it's just like she's just the damsel in distress to make Dave Bautista's daughter run away, and I'm like, yeah, I don't really care.
It's just
let her die, honestly.
It's just like another character that they just didn't need. It's just a waste of money that they could have put somewhere else. Yeah, and that's with a lot of the characters. There was an emotional depth, and you know, with the sacrifice of the safe crack or whatever his name was, the German dude.
Yeah.
God, I hope he's German.
He is.
He is? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just felt completely like bland to me. Like, you know, he's closing the safe on the dude.
I thought that was clever though.
Yeah, okay.
How he got trapped in the safe and he survived. Like, is the safe really that strong?
Yeah. Can it survive a nuclear blast?
Do you reckon?
Science.
Do you reckon? According to Zack Snyder, it can.
Yeah. Look, it's Zack Snyder. It's a zombie film.
Oh, and by the way, you do not walk outside of a nuclear blast. A nuclear
There's radiation there.
Yeah, bro. These guys are going to get, like, all sorts of cancer in, like, the next 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to die immediately. You don't, like... Once a nuclear bomb is dropped, it's like a no-go zone for, like, several, like, months, I think.
Yeah.
Like, you just can't go there. But they're just like, oh, yada, yada, yada.
Just walks out, like, seconds after it's landed.
I guess the bomb's gone off, so...
now?
But, I mean, you know, what's the alternative? It's just going to sit there forever, but... Yeah, I don't know. Bit stupid.
I mean, he had to go out sometime, and like if it's a month, a human can't survive a month without food or water. So
he sort of had to.
He's better off going out now.
But like if you went outside immediately, would the toxicity just kill you?
It's a very good question. If you went out after 7 days, would it be better than going out after the first day?
Yeah.
See, we're thinking too much about a Zack Snyder film. Don't do that.
No. We're thinking too much about a zombie heist movie that wants you to just sit back, relax, have a good time. And in case the viewers are getting a different picture, I enjoyed this film. But you know, we go into depth here on the podcast, and you can really see when movies hold up when you think about them deeply. Some of them do, some of them don't.
Yeah. So moving on, one of the main issues that I had with this as well is that look, I didn't know much about this film. I watched the trailer. I didn't really pay attention to it. You were probably more so invested in it. I thought this was going to be a Dave Bautista-led film. And it felt more like an Ocean's 11, where you have, you know, George Clooney is probably the biggest actor at that point in time.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's like, he's the main star in this film, but he's not really the main star in the film. And it's kind of the same case here. I felt like Dave Bautista was kind of underused in the film.
I agree, actually.
Which is a shame because he was the best part of the film.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to see this Dave Bautista-led film where he's fighting zombies and doing what he does best. You know, fight choreography and you know, saving his daughter. I wanted to see that, and it's just a shame because it felt like, you know, they focused on these other characters, and at the same time, they they couldn't even do anything with that. Like they underdeveloped all of the other characters, and they underdeveloped Dave Bautista. So the question is, what did they develop? Like, what were they doing with all of the time that they should have had? It's just a shame. Yeah, I thought it was going to be a Dave Bautista-led film, but to me, it just wasn't.
Yeah, the strength of the movie was his character, and I feel like the movie could have been better if it was through his perspective.
Yeah.
You know, the entire time, you know, because we visit other people, we visit other characters fighting zombies, and I'm like, if it was just through Dave Bautista's sort of eyes or his experience, I think it might have been better, and maybe reduce the team a little. Like, I know it's a zombie heist and you want as many people as you can, but I don't know, reduce the team a bit. By the way, good joke when they're going around recruiting people for different amounts of money to see how much it will take to get them to go into a zombie apocalypse. Like, they go to one person, they're like, how would you like to earn $2 million?
Yeah.
And then they go to the next person, they're like, how would you like to earn 500 grand?
Yeah.
Like, how about
20 grand?
Yeah, 20 grand. He's like, hell yeah, I'll do 20 grand. Meanwhile, like, the person next to him on like $2 million.
Yeah.
Like, I just thought that's not really like a joke in terms of like character gonna say funny thing here. It's more of just like a thing that's built into the story that's just amusing and funny.
And by the way, like, another major plot point is like, look, they're going into a safe, and you know, he said, okay, you can earn 20 grand. They all saw the safe. Yeah. They saw how much money there was. It's not, you know, it's not under 100 grand. So he knows he's not getting a split share. So there wasn't even any conflict about that. It's just like, okay, I'm getting a less share than you.
How about you just tell everyone you want to earn $200 million?
Exactly, right? Like, Dave Bautista's getting 50 million, and this dude's getting 20,000.
Yeah.
He doesn't even question it. Like, I don't know, that just kind of felt a bit weird to me. Just, there's so many major plot points in this film that if you really
I thought that was funny
it,
though, that like this well, I don't think he was a police officer. I think he was more of just like
a security guard.
Yeah. And he was obviously a really bad person, and obviously like low morals or loose morals. And they're just persuade him with like 20 grand. It's like, hell yeah, I'll make 20 grand. Let's go.
Yeah.
I thought the performance from that guy was really, really good. He's in what's it called? Sons of Anarchy, which is a motorbike, one of the most critically praised TV shows out there.
Okay.
And he's really good in that. And so I saw him and I'm like, hey, that's the guy. But he was really, really good, very hateable, and you certainly didn't feel bad for him when he was being eaten alive by zombies.
Yeah. So one thing I was doing when I was writing my notes, so I was going through and I was like, okay, zombie tiger, cool.
Yeah.
Wrote that down.
Yeah.
Next thing up, what the hell? Zeus has a zombie horse as well. Write that down. And then, 5 minutes later, zombie baby, what the?
Zombie baby, yeah.
Zombie Bautista, like, it was just zombie.
Yeah.
So all of these things are becoming zombies, like, zombie baby, that's such a weird...
Did you notice
God.
when he took the zombie baby out, there was this wide shot of Zeus like on the ground picking up the baby, and there's like this zombie horde from the left and the right. Did you see the not so subtle Jesus?
Oh God! So there was a zombie.
So
Jesus.
it's like the birth of Jesus Christ. You know how they have
the three wise men.
There's like a wide shot, with the wise man and the. Geez, my religious knowledge is being tested right now. What's it like? The wise men, the people that give them gifts. That's the wise men, and then you have like the angels and whatever. Everyone else has come in. They're like, hey, Jesus is here. That's good and stuff. So you have like the main dude, which is like what's his name?
Zeus.
No, the Jesus one. Jesus' dad, not his dad, but Joseph. You have Joseph.
And Mary.
Yeah, you have Mary on the ground, and then you have like the party, behind them. Yeah. And it's like there was a slow-mo shot. I'm just like, oh, God damn it, Zack Snyder.
It's a Zack Snyder film. He has to have some sort of God sort of element in there.
Yeah.
I
actually like that though. Like I thought it was cool. I thought it was like, oh, that's interesting. I thought it was a really nice shot. And I'm all here for like not so subtle imagery because I'll get it.
Yep.
If it's not subtle, I won't miss it. You know,
that went over my head.
Yeah.
Completely missed it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I should have known, man. Like,
Yeah.
every film he has some sort of, God elements.
Yeah,
and,
Jesus, yeah.
I mean, it's very, very heavy in Batman vs Superman.
Yeah.
One of my major issues with that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
God versus man.
So, moving on again.
Yep.
Zombie gets squished.
Oh my gosh, that was so graphic, bro. That was insane. There were some moments in this where I was like, my goodness, I don't think I've ever seen that much gore ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, the scene that stands out is when they're pushing the zombie towards the safe, testing out the booby traps, and the door just closes on him, and you're like, okay, that's good. And then the door opens, and you just see like guts and yuck. And then how about when angry white dude who we don't like gets his face eaten by Valentine, the zombie tiger.
Yeah.
And you see it, like, because usually what would happen is like, you get close up of tiger being like rah, and he's gonna go down and bite his face off. Then it cuts away. But this is you get it. You eat the face.
It shows you it, right?
It shows you half of a human face without.
It's kind of like just like Zack Snyder's Justice League. Like Justice League, the Whedon cut is like, sunshine, lollipops, and like it's happy days.
Yeah.
And then cut to Zack Snyder, the Snyder cut. Yeah, I'm gonna show you Steppenwolf's head getting crushed. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
And you kind of get that in this film. Which, if you like that, you're gonna have a great time with this film. So it's a ballsy move, but it's a great move, and I like to see that stuff because it's what the film needs. It needs that substance. It can't stand without it.
Yeah.
So I think that was great.
By the way, did you find these zombies scary or intimidating or?
Yeah, I thought they were pretty scary.
Yeah, same.
A lot of zombie films tend to struggle with that because, there's no real threat because it's always, I can outrun them because they're slow and.
Yeah, and these ones are quick.
If you've ever seen The Walking Dead, I haven't seen The Walking Dead, but I've heard issues from it where the zombies are so slow that like you just keep outrunning them. Yeah. But these zombies are quick and you can't outrun them.
Yeah.
And you're stuck in this Las Vegas area with all these crates around you. So there's a serious threat of it, which I think is great, and that makes the film more intense.
Yeah.
So I think that was well done.
It's a logical solution as well. If you did have a zombie outbreak, I feel like that's a good solution, is to just like get some crates and just border the area off and just enclose them. Like, I feel like if there was an actual zombie outbreak, that's exactly what they would do. They would build a wall.
Yep. Just surround it off. Whoever's in there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're done.
You're done.
And then they would nuke it. Like, that's very.
That's
common
America
sense.
as well.
Yeah.
America.
But then it is in the middle of the desert too. So like it is a viable option.
But then again, you'd have like political riots and oh my god, don't
and
blow,
they did show a bit of
don't
that.
blow Vegas. Like,
They did show a bit of the political sort of tension as well. They had like I don't know, some sort of human rights person on, and they're like, you can't drop a bomb. It's like it'll be harmful for people and stuff. And the other person's like, well, what else do you want them to do? You want them to set the zombies out? Like that's exactly what would happen. You'd have some people being like, well, you can't, shoot a nuke at Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And then other people would just be like, look, there's zombies, mate.
Humanity surviving or blow up Vegas.
Yeah.
I think the world can do without Vegas either way, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a good trade-off. So I wanted to touch on this previously, but I'll say it now. Zack Snyder and his slow-mo shots. He does a lot of slow-mo shots in the Zack Snyder's Justice League, and I think that's an issue that you have with it. Yeah. In this film, I really liked it, and in particular, it's the scene where they're coming down and they're in like the lobby of the Olympus, and just like there's money flying everywhere because one of the zombies grabbed the bag, and they're in like this death circle and they're just like shooting zombies. Oh, it's so cool. Absolutely love that. I think that was a beautiful shot. Well done, Zack Snyder. That's what you do best. But if you don't have any more final thoughts, I've got some ending thoughts.
Okay.
And then we can...
go for it. I think once we got to that third act, I think the weakest part of this movie is the middle.
Yep.
Or maybe even the setup. Maybe the setup connecting to the middle, because I think once they got into the actual zombie area, I was like, okay, let's go. It was a bit slow at some stages, but But for me, the setup is by far the weakest part of the movie. You know, the best heist movies, they make that interesting. They make the setup and the characters interesting.
Yeah.
But by the time we got to the end of the film, I didn't feel the runtime because I felt during certain scenes, I was just glued. Like, I was immersed. I was experiencing it. I didn't know what was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a really good movie to watch for the first time. Like, it's a certain film that you can enjoy the most when you watch it first.
Yep.
Because a lot of films, the more times you watch it, the more you can enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
This is one that you'll enjoy the most the first time you watch it, I think.
Yep.
But yeah, by the time we got to the end, so much was going on, which is sort of an issue as well. But I didn't know what was going to happen. I was just really enjoying the tense sort of countdown and, oh my gosh, we have to do so many things. Everything is going wrong.
Yep.
And so I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think the runtime didn't really stand out to me, and I think it's a lot of...
People are really complaining about this, man.
I
And I reckon people need to shut the hell up because 2 hours and 28 minutes is not the longest movie you have ever seen.
I thought it was longer than that, isn't it? Or I could be...
Nah, it's below 2.5.
Okay.
And that's standard, man. Like, you know, if you have a movie that's 2 hours, then... You know, that's probably, that would be acceptable. But, like, we have movies that are, you know, 2.5 hours all the time.
Yeah.
And, like, most of your modern-day superhero movies are 2.5 hours. And you know, we have people going to give them, like, you know, 80%, 90%. Like, you want to give... How long is Black Panther? Probably, like, 2 hours, 10 minutes, something like that.
It's probably up there, yeah.
Like, you can't complain. You can't have it both ways either. You know, people complain about Zack Snyder being 4 hours, Justice League being 4 hours. Like, okay, fair enough, but...
People wanted that.
Yeah, but if you're going to rate a 4-hour movie, you can't automatically downgrade it for being 4 hours. Like, you can't look at Lord of the Rings and go, well, first off, it's 2 hours and 50 minutes, so it's automatically not going to get above an 80%.
Yeah. And, look, I understand when people say... after watching the film, they can hate on the runtime if they felt it was too long.
Yeah.
But you can't do it beforehand. Like, because there's films that, you know, Endgame, people love Endgame.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost 3 hours long.
Yeah.
So, yeah, watch the film, make your decision, and then decide whether you're going to hate on the film because of its runtime.
And with that, like, with people writing reviews, if you want to make that point, you say, at moments, I felt like the movie was a bit too slow. I felt like I was a bit bored.
Yep.
You don't say this movie's two and a half hours. That's it. Therefore, it is bad.
Yeah.
Because that's just bias, man.
Yeah,
like,
and then you like click on their profile, and it's like favorite films: Endgame, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, and like The Irishman.
The Irishman.
Martin Scorsese.
Yeah. See.
By the way, get wrecked, Marty. Your Netflix movie is...
nowhere near...
Yeah, your Netflix movie is turned to dust. Nobody gives a crap anymore.
Yeah, no one cares about that. Probably never going to see it. Don't intend
it's
on
bad.
seeing
It's
it.
rubbish. Yeah. It's horrible. It's such a boring movie. Well, yeah, it is for me.
Anyways.
Well, actually, it is cinema.
That's like some Martin Scorsese fans like type in the comments.
You just don't understand cinema.
What do you reckon Martin would say about this? Anyways. Yeah, so do we want to move on to the music segment now?
Marty's probably watching this on a Saturday. He just doesn't want to tell us. Because what else is he going to do? Is, you know, he's got his 5-star three dinner course all lined up.
Yeah.
And he's sitting down. He's got his huge TV. Like, what's it? He's going to watch his own movies? He probably does.
Yeah.
You know he's pretty good taxi driver.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, Robert De Niro, do you want to come round? Got a good movie on TV.
He like constantly rewatches his performance in Shark Tales.
Shark Tale. Oh, yes. I want to see Martin Scorsese's movie collection.
Fish number 2.
One of his best performances. Fish number 2.
Anyways,
right, yes.
Music segment. What have you got?
Music segment. Obviously, Junkie XL. We've seen him with Snyder on a number of projects. Obviously, Batman v Superman, and Zack Snyder's Justice League recently. And now he's also done Army of the Dead with Snyder. So, and there's similar scores, to be honest. When you listen to the Army of the Dead, it does sound, it's got the same sort of feel as the Batman v Superman. So it's very epic, which is nice. But the song that I want to put in, the original song, is Zeus and Athena, which is the one I was playing just before. It's called Part 1. And it's the music that I think plays when Zeus is, how would you call it? Taking the child out of the queen,
making a cross section.
Delivering the zombie child.
Yeah.
But then we also have Viva Las Vegas, which is an original song, but it's just so this movie that I got to chuck it in as well.
Yeah, loved it. Absolutely loved that.
Yeah. It was great music choices. I will say though, at the end of the film, he uses the song "Zombie."
Yeah, by the Cranberries.
Yeah, that was a bit on the nose for me.
Yeah.
I was like, I get it, but
Zack Snyder's like on Spotify, like zombie songs.
Yeah, zombie. Chuck it in.
That's the one.
Yeah, I'm like, maybe another one would have been better, but
yeah.
Oh, what did you think, by the way, about the very end of the film?
Yeah, we completely missed out on that.
Yeah, with a bit of a sequel tease. For me personally, I think the movie should have ended right after the daughter shot Dave Bautista. Yeah. And then you should have just gone a few quiet moments. Maybe she walks away. We get a shot of her walking away with the nuke in the background and then cut to black. Of course, we don't do this. Snyder is terrible at ending movies. I'm a Snyder fan, so it hurts me to say that. But none of his movies end very well. They always go on way too long.
Yeah. Man of Steel, especially.
Yeah. The ending, the third act of that movie is very long.
Yeah.
But for example, like Zack Snyder's Justice League, even like the whole nightmare thing, it's not necessary. It's a post credits. Like it's awesome and it's great, and all the stuff with Deathstroke and Lex Luthor, like it's post credit stuff. The movie's ended, but by not ending the movie and by continuing it on, you don't get the Christopher Nolan like ending.
Yeah.
Where you finish the movie and you're like, yes, that was a great ending. This movie was great. Instead, you get, when is it ending? Oh, here's a sequel. Oh, there it is. Oh, there's the ending.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. No, I completely understand that. And I think that's where the runtime comes into effect. It's kind of like, cut that out. We don't need that. Was it Zack Snyder that made that decision, or was it Netflix that's like, we need another film?
Yeah, I mean, maybe someone needs to tell Zack Snyder what a post-credit scene is, because I don't know. I feel like a lot of his stuff could be solved by post-credit scenes, but then again, I personally don't like post-credit scenes. But
I don't want to have to skip through the credits to watch a scene. Just put it before the credits.
Yeah. But then, I don't know. It's tricky. But anyway, what did you think about I know you liked the parallels with the daughter and killing her father, and I agree. What did you think of the what's his name?
Scott?
The guy in the safe. The guy in the safe who gets out of the safe.
I have no idea.
The guy who's been bitten on the plane.
He felt like a supporting character, and he was a supporting character. Yeah. You don't give a supporting character the supporting character role, and then towards the end it's like, hold up, you're probably one of the most important characters. I feel like that's just a fundamental error in filmmaking that you just stay away from. You don't do that. So there's a major issue there. It didn't make sense. He wants to stay alive, but he knows he's going to turn into a zombie.
His name is Vanderho.
So, it's just kind of like sacrifice yourself. You know it's the right thing to do. You already seem like the person who knows what the right thing to do is.
Yeah. You shoot yourself in that situation.
Exactly. Like
It's okay, keep going.
Like he kind of knows it, but he doesn't want to do it. And it just doesn't work at all. So I think that was a pretty big mistake.
Yeah, did you notice that he had a dark side tattoo?
Really?
Yeah, he had the Omega symbol on his chest.
Okay.
So, bit of a call to... Oh, and did you notice, in the vault, there was the Snyder Cut.
What?
So when Zack Snyder originally told the world the Snyder Cut existed, he posted a photo from the set of Army of the Dead, and he's like, the Snyder Cut is there, and there is the box that says like Snyder Cut.
No.
And there is a wide shot like when they get into the safe, and you can see it in the corner.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go back and look at that.
So yeah, interesting. I love that. It's nice to see that because obviously Zack was making this movie when the Snyder Cut campaign was coming out.
Yeah.
And now that we've actually seen it, it's still in the movie. Oh, it's very nice.
It's funny because it released after the Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's good. It's nice to see that sort of stuff in film. Just little Easter eggs.
Yeah. And Zack loves that.
Did you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
For final thoughts?
Yeah.
I'll go first.
Yeah.
By the way, this is at a 2.9 on Letterboxd. That's too low. It's got to be a bit higher than that for me. Mm-hmm. Look, overall, this isn't a movie that you take too seriously. I enjoyed it for what it was. I think it's the best Netflix movie that we've ever gotten. Mm-hmm. But then again, it's not a particularly high bar. But then again, beating out the likes of Martin Scorsese, isn't he? So yeah, a 2.9 is too low. I would rate it higher. I would probably give it something like a B, like a solid B. Mm-hmm. I think that encapsulates it well. I think it did some things really well, like for instance the makeup and the set design. I think if this wins an Oscar for makeup, I'll be very pleased.
Yep, I think that's what I was going to say. Makeup. Yep. Yeah,
I think it should at least get a nomination. I think the zombies look so cool. And the makeup and the performances of the zombies themselves were really, really cool too.
Yeah.
Falls down in the character department for me. The rest of it works really well. It's a fun time. Am I going to rewatch this? I think maybe. Like I might go back to it, but not for a while at least. It's sort of maybe if my Disney Plus subscription and my Amazon get cancelled and I'm like, I want to watch something, I've only got Netflix for some reason.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? I'll watch Army of the Dead again.
Yeah.
Right? This isn't my favourite Snyder movie, but it ranks number 3 for me behind Justice League and Dawn of the Dead. Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
So,
Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah,
okay.
Dawn of the Dead's the best Snyder movie, and then Justice League, then Army of the Dead comes in number 3.
Okay.
I'll give it a solid B. I enjoyed it, and I recommend it to everyone with Netflix.
Okay. Yeah. Like we've said multiple times throughout this hour and a half, there's fundamental issues here that Zack Snyder kind of falls into, and they're very clear. There's multiple plot lines that just converge and just crash against one another. There's plot holes everywhere. Just looking at this film from distance, it's not a good film. Like there's a lot of things wrong with it, but like I said from the very start, it's a fun film. You have fun with it. That's what you're there for. So like I said at the start, I want to rate it objectively, but you're going to get some subjective sort of stuff coming in because that's what you have when you rate films. Look, I love the set design. I love the characters. Makeup, I think that was great, like you said. Character development was very hit or miss. I think that's, Zack Snyder needs to work on that a bit. I think the cinematography was really good at times as well. Yeah. So props to Zack Snyder for that. I think he just needs to find his element and do what he's good at. So cinematography, directing, and then maybe get someone else for the writing who can do a better job there. Because let's be real, you can't do everything. Like it's going to be very dampening on the person. It's going to be hard. Like making a whole film by yourself is hard. Let's be real. I wouldn't know, but I would assume it is. So hire someone else that's better than that. And you'll get a better film out of it. That's why I have Zack Snyder's Justice League being so well received. I think there's a lot more wrong with the film than there is right with the film. But I appreciate it for just being like a just a gore fest and like just a fun time. And I watched this guy called Sean Chandler, and I think he calls them like Taco Bell movies because you just feel guilty about them.
Yeah. Junk food.
Yeah, junk food. Exactly. It's rewatchable. I know I'll rewatch it. It's probably not going to be for a while, like you said, but I'd watch it again. Why not? It's a fun time. And I feel like the next time I watch it, I'll probably realize the runtime will be like, yeah, this is kind of long now.
Yeah. Okay.
But the first time around, I didn't have any issues with it. So in saying that, I'm going to give it a flat C. I was going to give it a C minus because there's a lot of issues wrong with it, but I had a fun time with it, so it kind of evens out at a C. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sweet. All right. Well, we'll leave it there for today, I think. Thank you so much thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Rewatch podcast. We talked about Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead today. Next week or next time, we'll be talking about Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. Finally.
Yes.
So that'll be really cool. So stay tuned for that episode. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to follow us on Instagram, you can do so at The Rewatch Pod. If you'd like to subscribe to the YouTube channel, just search The Rewatch on YouTube. Thank you for listening, and bye for now.
See ya.